Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into the icy waters of history to tell the tragic story of a vessel that became a legend, the RMS Titanic. It was more than just a ship. It was a dream, a symbol of a new era, and a floating palace of ambition. But its story is a chilling reminder of how quickly dreams can turn into nightmares. In the early 20th century, the White Star Line commissioned a ship that would redefine luxury and engineering. Built in Belfast, Ireland, the Titanic was a marvel of its time. Stretching an incredible 882 feet and weighing over 46,000 tons, it was the largest man-made moving object on the planet. Its creators, and the public, believed it to be a fortress of steel, so safe that it was famously, and fatefully, dubbed Unsinkable. This wasn't just marketing hype. It was a deeply held belief. The ship was equipped with 16 watertight compartments, which could be sealed off in an emergency. The thinking was that even if 4 of these compartments flooded, the ship would remain afloat. This revolutionary design gave it an aura of invincibility, a testament to humanity's growing mastery over nature. But as we'll see, this confidence concealed a fatal design flaw. The bulkheads, the walls of these compartments, didn't extend all the way up to the main deck. It was a detail that would have devastating consequences. On April 10, 1912, the world watched as the Titanic embarked on its maiden voyage. The journey began in Southampton, England, with crowds cheering and horns blaring. Its path was set, a brief stop in Cherbourg, France, then Queenstown, Ireland, before making the long transatlantic crossing to New York City. Aboard were approximately 2,224 people, a floating city of souls. This diverse passenger list was a microcosm of society itself. In the opulent first-class suites were some of the wealthiest people in the world, including millionaires like John Jacob Astor IV. The second class hosted professionals, teachers, and middle-class families, enjoying a level of comfort that rivaled first class on other ships. And in third class or steerage were hundreds of immigrants from across Europe, full of hope, carrying their life savings and dreaming of a new life in America. For them, the Titanic wasn't just a ship. It was a vessel carrying them toward a brighter future. Life aboard the Titanic was, for many, like living in a fantasy. It was a floating palace, designed to impress and delight. First-class passengers enjoyed amenities that were unheard of at sea. A heated swimming pool, a state-of-the-art gymnasium, Turkish baths, and several exquisite restaurants. The grand staircase, with its ornate woodwork and domed glass ceiling, was the heart of the ship, a place to see and be seen. Every evening was a spectacle of fine dining, with multi-course meals served on delicate china, accompanied by the ship's talented orchestra. Fashion was on full display, with elegant gowns and sharp tuxedos gracing the halls. But comfort wasn't limited to the wealthy. Second-class accommodations were remarkably spacious and well-appointed, and even third-class passengers experienced a standard of hygiene and comfort that was far superior to other liners of the day. The ship was alive with music, laughter, and the hum of excitement. It truly was the ship of dreams. For 4 days, the voyage was idyllic. The weather was clear, the seas were calm, and the magnificent ship cut through the Atlantic with effortless grace. But as night fell on April 14th, the atmosphere began to change. The temperature dropped sharply, and the sea became eerily still, like a vast sheet of dark glass. The Titanic was entering an area known for icebergs, and multiple warnings had been received from other ships throughout the day. Tragically, not all of these warnings reached the bridge with the urgency they required. At 11:40 p.m., in the freezing darkness of the North Atlantic, a lookout spotted a massive iceberg directly in the ship's path. "Iceberg, right ahead!" he cried. The bridge ordered the engines reversed, and the ship turned hard, but it was too late. The colossal vessel was too large and moving too fast to avoid a collision. The iceberg grazed along the starboard side, not with a massive crash, but with a subtle grinding shudder that many passengers barely noticed. Below the waterline, however, the damage was catastrophic. The impact had buckled the steel plates and popped rivets, opening up a series of gashes along the hull. Water began pouring into the first 6 of the watertight compartments. The ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, was on board, and after a quick inspection, he delivered the grim verdict to Captain Smith. The Titanic could survive 4 flooded compartments, but not 6. With water spilling from one compartment into the next over the tops of the bulkheads, the ship was doomed. He estimated it had at most 2 hours before it would sink. The organized calm soon gave way to a dawning, terrifying reality. The crew was ordered to uncover the lifeboats and begin evacuating passengers. The protocol was clear: women and children first. But here another fatal flaw was exposed. The Titanic, despite its size and passenger count, carried only 20 lifeboats, enough for just 1,178 people, roughly half of those on board. This was technically compliant with the outdated maritime safety laws of the time, which based lifeboat requirements on a ship's tonnage, not its passenger capacity. As the evacuation began, chaos and confusion reigned. Many early lifeboats were launched half-empty, as passengers were either reluctant to leave the seeming safety of the massive ship or didn't fully comprehend the danger. As the ship's bow dipped lower and lower into the water, the angle of the deck grew steeper, and a sense of panic began to set in. Amidst the screams and the frantic activity, one of the most enduring legends of the Titanic was born. The ship's band, led by Wallace Hartley, assembled on the deck and began to play. They continued playing hymns and cheerful tunes, a small island of calm in a sea of chaos, a selfless act of courage to soothe the terrified passengers in their final moments. By 2:05 a.m., the last lifeboat had departed. Over 1,500 people remained on the steeply tilting decks of the dying ship. The immense stress on the hull caused the Titanic to break in two between the third and fourth funnels. The bow section sank first, pulling the stern high into the air until it was almost vertical. It paused there for a moment against the starlit sky before it too slid beneath the waves at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th. The ocean, which had been filled with the sounds of a struggling ship, fell silent, broken only by the cries of hundreds of people floating in the lethally cold water. The water temperature was just 28 degrees Fahrenheit, below freezing. Survival in such conditions was a matter of minutes. In the end, more than 1,500 souls, passengers and crew, perished in the disaster. Only around 700 people, most of them in lifeboats, survived the night. They floated in darkness, surrounded by the haunting silence, waiting and praying for rescue. Help was on its way, but it was miles away. The RMS Carpathia had received the Titanic's distress calls and was steaming at full speed through the dangerous ice field to reach them. Around 4 a.m., the first survivors were spotted, and the crew of the Carpathia began the solemn task of pulling the men, women, and children from the lifeboats. When news of the disaster reached the world, it was met with disbelief and shock. Initial reports were confused, with some newspapers even claiming all passengers were safe. But soon, the horrific truth emerged. The headline, "The Unsinkable Ship Sinks," sent ripples of grief across the globe. The tragedy prompted immediate and sweeping changes to maritime law. The International Ice Patrol was established to monitor icebergs in the North Atlantic, and new regulations mandated that all ships carry enough lifeboats for every single person on board. The Titanic disaster served as a brutal wake-up call to the maritime industry. The legacy of the Titanic is one of both hubris and heroism, tragedy and transformation. For decades, the ship rested in its silent tomb, its exact location a mystery. Then, in 1985, a team led by Dr. Robert Ballard discovered the wreck, 12,000 feet deep on the ocean floor. The haunting images of the decaying ship, its grand staircase now a ghostly ruin, brought the story back to life for a new generation. The Titanic has been immortalized in countless books, documentaries, and films, most famously in James Cameron's 1997 epic. It remains a powerful symbol of human ambition, social inequality, and the unforgiving power of nature. It reminds us that no matter how advanced our technology becomes, we must never lose our respect for the world around us or our humility in the face of its power. The story of the Titanic is not just about a shipwreck. It's a human story that continues to fascinate and move us, over a century later. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this story as compelling as we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history. Let us know in the comments what you find most memorable about the Titanic story. Until next time, stay curious,